Hey guys, welcome back to another Throwback Thursday, another episode of Remembering Forgotten Memories. This one is particularly stupid, and I do not know why on God's green earth I ever thought this was going to be a good idea, or that it would pan out well for me. I don't know. You can surmise from the title of the video exactly where it's going, but a little preface first. Before this big, huge shenanigans, I had already spent the second half, not the whole thing, just the second half of 8th grade, pretending I was an exchange student from England, complete with fake foreign accent and all. The only reason that this fooled anybody at all was the fact that I was normally so quiet that I just did not speak. So nobody had really heard me talk in the first place, so they didn't really know the difference. Except for there were, like, 1 or 2 people that had gone to elementary school with me that just blew the lid off of this and kind of ruined the whole thing. And again, I don't know why I thought that was going to end well for me either. Compound that with the fact that I also had a bogus lie that Paul McCartney was my grandpa. Never mind the crush that I have on Paul McCartney, and that would mean I have a crush on my grandpa. Yeah, somebody called me out on that, was like, you need help. Yeah. I don't know why. This is just low self-esteem at its best in its manifestations, I guess, in just the jacked up things it makes young teenagers do sometimes, I guess. I am not condoning any of this behavior. It was all bad. I wish I hadn't done it, but at the same time, in hindsight, it's kind of funny. It's worth sharing. So, given the huge shitstorm that ensued from 8th grade, you would think I would have learned my lesson, right? No. Literally, day 1 of high school, when I could have had a clean slate, I could have had a fresh start, just like with 8th grade itself, I could have had a clean slate from all the years of bullying in elementary school. Nope, blew that all on my little own. Same thing with high school. Because I actually made a friend on day 1, which for me is incredibly unusual. And with my low self-esteem, I did not in any way, shape, or form believe that somebody could just like me for me, as is. I thought I had to be something I wasn't. I don't know. It was like a really weird mindset that I've thankfully outgrown. I've long outgrown. But during my teens, it was a recurring theme, not gonna lie. It manifested a bunch of weird friggin' ways, but this one, thankfully, was one of the shorter-lived ones. I don't know how it came up in conversation. I don't know why I decided this was a thing that I needed to try and start. But I apparently decided on this day I was going to claim I have an identical twin. Yeah, and almost the second the words left my mouth, I was already thinking, shit, why did I do that? What the hell? Why would you do that? Now what are you gonna do? So, of course, now my mind's, like, spinning 1,000 miles an hour, like, oh shit, you can't really just go, ha, kidding, on something like that, because that's not really a joke. Like, I realized I had, like, 0 social skills. I mean, part of this, I figured out later, is part of the Asperger's syndrome thing. When it would be easier to tell the truth that you just lie. Again, I've since outgrown that, but as a teenager, I had issues with this, and I really wish I hadn't, but again, hindsight's 20/20, but at the time, oh my god, the kind of crap I came up with. I was also Geddy Lee's kid. Yeah, there was all sorts of really weird ones. They were always fucking bogus, but this one I claimed I had an identical twin. Little did I know that the person I said to was, oh, that's so funny, because I actually am friends with identical twins. And I wasn't sure if she was being sarcastic, And she already knew that it was, like, a bogus thing, and I may as well just stop here while you still have an out. No, no, I apparently decided, in my infinite freaking wisdom, to keep going with it. So what's your twin's name? I don't even remember what the hell I came up with. And because I can't remember what it was, that tells me it had to have been fucking stupid, whatever I came up with, because if it had been something good, I'd probably remember it. But, nah, no, that's a blip. But apparently I had one that I came up with. And she goes, oh, that's cool, so does she hang out with you? No, we hate each other. We can't fucking stand each other. She hangs out with, like, other people. She's popular, and I'm not. Was basically how it went down, more or less. Every single word coming out of my mouth, I'm mentally kicking myself going, why are you doing this? Literally, why are you doing this? You don't have to do this. And I'm having this internal struggle of, well, I started down this path. Apparently, we're just gonna keep following it, because what else are you gonna do? Oh my god, so in my not knowing if she was kidding or not about knowing these twins, we apparently went and sat with them, and I found out very quickly she was not joking. She really did, and I was just like, oh shit. So of course, she introduces me as one half of a set of identical twins, and I'm like cringing the whole time thinking, oh god, what have I done? What have I done? I want to backpedal so bad, and I don't know how to do it here. What did I do? Just literally day one, I actually was lucky enough to make a friend, and I already fucked it up. What the hell, self? And just was social anxietying out, even though I literally did it to my— what the— oh my god. My dad just messaged me on Facebook to say, hey Jen, you're not short, you're a people McNugget. That had nothing to do with this video, but it popped up as a notification on my iPod, so I felt the need to share it with you guys so you know what I'm laughing at. I will go answer that in a minute. But anyway, so this whole time I'm just like cringing. I'm like, what the hell? What do I do? What do I even do? There's like no way of getting out of this telling the truth now without losing this brand new friend I just made. And if I lose this one, I got nobody on this campus. And then there's gonna be, you know, the whole reputation the second they tell anybody that I did that on day one. So somehow, in my friggin' stupid logic, I decide it's better to just keep going. I hate my teenager logic. My teenager logic was shit, okay? If you're a teenager and you ever think of doing this, just don't, okay? Just learn from my mistake. Don't. Just freaking save yourself the trouble. Don't. So, I keep going with this, and I keep coming up with these stupid-ass details, like, yeah, she, like, lives in the attic in our house, and I don't really talk to her, even though she's the popular one, but she lives in the attic. My house didn't even freaking have an attic. I don't know, like, everything out of my mouth was just, like, word diarrhea, and was, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life here? And I could tell damn well that both, not one, but both of these twins knew damn well I was full of shit. I was figuring, yeah, they are not going to want me to come back here ever again after today. And I was figuring this is probably a doomed thing, so may as well go down with the ship, keep going. Which, again, horrible, horrible, horrible logic. But I kept going, and I think this went on a grand total of— I think I dragged it out for a week or two before I finally just owned up and was like, I can't do it anymore, just the guilt is getting to me, I cannot do it. That's the thing about me. Even when I still had that weird lying phase as a teenager, I have like a guilt complex the size of Texas. I am a bad liar, I cannot live with myself if I tell lies, I cannot do it. So, if I tell them, I cannot maintain it very long. So, I friggin' owned up. And then I felt really stupid for not just owning up in the first place, because the friend was really confused and a little upset because why'd you do that? But I mean, at the same time, not mad enough to end the friendship, which was nice, and I very much appreciated, but I was like, "Damn, if I had just done this day one, I could have spared myself so much trouble. I could have spared myself these actual twins hating me," which, funnily enough, one of them ended up in my guitar class the second semester of that year. And we ended up actually being, like, legit friends. The other twin continued to hate me, and I think to this day still does, and, you know, frankly, I kinda don't blame her because as a teenager, I was weird as shit, and most of the things that came out of my mouth at that age were full of shit. So I kinda don't blame her. I kinda don't blame a lot of people from around that time frame. But, anyway, yeah, I don't know why I thought it was a good idea. I think like, I've tried to figure this out many times since that went down. Why, out of all the things that could have come out of my mouth, why was that the thing to come out? And I think I've surmised that maybe this was some sort of weird defense mechanism. Knowing my social awkwardness being as it may, that in case I blew it hard enough to where I would potentially lose this brand new friend, I could claim, hey, that was the twin you were hanging out with, not me. And just, like, get a get out of jail free card. Even though that would definitely not work in real life, but apparently in my head, as somebody who watches way too much TV, this seemed like solid logic. It seemed like it would work, and I think I did freaking try it on one occasion. I don't remember what it was over. I just feel like I vaguely remember trying to pull that card and it blowing up in my face, and that was around the point where I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna own up, because I can't do this. It's too much on me, I cannot do it. And I figured, well, they're mad at me already because they caught me at this. I may as well just own up. Ironically, I'm still friends with the person to this day. I haven't seen them in person in many years, but I'm still friends with them online to this day, so that's kind of cool, but oh my god, that was just of all the weird social anxiety things I have done in my life, I still cringe over that one pretty damn hard because there is nobody to blame but myself for that one. Just like the one in 8th grade. Nobody forced me to do that. No. My stupid warped little brain decided this was a good idea out of my lack of self-confidence and lack of self-worth, lack of self-esteem, all of the above, feeling like it wasn't good enough and feeling the need to try and be something that I wasn't. And I really wish I'd gotten the memo sooner. I mean, I feel like people even tried to tell me at the time, just be yourself. I was like, that is so cliche. Nobody wants, no one wants me to be herself. She's fucking weird as hell, nobody wants that. And in hindsight, it's like, I could have spared everyone, myself included, so much trouble in so many different situations if I had done exactly that and just been myself and not tried to be things that I wasn't for different people at different points. Because this was like a recurring theme through my entire teens, happened over and over and over with different things and different people. Yeah. But again, I would like to remind you all that I don't do that anymore. So, all the stories I tell you here are 100% true. I have nothing to prove anymore, but I feel like somehow YouTube actually gave me some sort of self-confidence and self-worth, so there's that. But, prior to that, yeah, I was so freaking insecure just in myself and so terrified that if people got to know me, they'd see the weird person underneath the surface and run for the hills and want no part of her. Because that was how my freaking elementary school class was that I went to school with, and they were just horrible. It wasn't me, they were literally horrible people, and many of them have come around as adults and apologized profusely for that. There's a couple that are still total douchebags, and I can live without them, but the majority of them have made peace with me, and I'm cool with that. And it is reassuring to know that it wasn't me. It was them. And I feel like I could have spared myself a lot of unnecessary drama stemming from all of that, if that could have been avoided, it does make me wonder how different I would have turned out if I had just gone to public school. But that's neither here nor there. We all have different life stories. We all got dealt a different hand. We all went to school with different people and got different takeaways, and we all had just we've all got different mental disorders. We all have different levels of neurotypicalness or neurodivergence. Like I said, I'm an Aspie, but other people have other things that give them weird quirks too. But once you're aware that you have them, though, that's when you can work to improve them, at least. So once I got that diagnosis, it actually was pretty much the turning point. That was like the thing number one I wanted to work on, was like eliminate that symptom, because that one I can actually do something about. It just gave me reason to be like, okay, so I'm not a terrible person. I actually had a condition that made me do that. But and just knowing that, it's like, okay, so it's not me just being shitty and I'm doomed to do this for life. I can actually work on that. Okay, and I did, and I popped out the other side fairly quickly once I knew that. But there were a bunch of symptoms like that that I was able to work on. Some took longer than others, but it just was eye-opening. But I have so many freaking stories from my teens, though. There's some from childhood too, but most of them seem to have been from the teen years. Of just these bogus stories that I would come up with for no good reason other than I was just that insecure in myself, to where I felt obligated to come up with them, and I felt like it would be better to come up with something like that and have people judge me for whatever that thing was, even if it blew up in my face, than have them judge me for my real life and the clusterfuck that was my real life. Because I was like, my real life's way worse than anything I'm coming up with, and I don't want anybody knowing about it. And it was definitely some sort of weird defense mechanism. I don't know, it was partly that and partly the self-esteem thing, and partly the autistic thing, but it was so stupid in hindsight, and I'm like, oh, so much cringe. So much cringe. I'm trying to remember some of the other really, really big ones that I felt obligated to just keep going with. None's really coming to mind as much as those three instances, because those were the three that I kept defaulting to. And I'm not quite sure why. They're stupid as hell. Oh, there was one more piece to the one in 8th grade. The one where I was pretending that I was an exchange student from England. Well, because, being the unpopular weird kid and all, trying to make myself sound more cool than I was, I'd already added the fake accent and, the fake backstory. Why not add a fake boyfriend into the mix, too? But not just a fake boyfriend. No. I had a kid with fake boyfriend. So I had a fake boyfriend and a fake kid with a fake back history and a fake accent. Just everything. Everything, dude. And when people are like, oh, I want to see pictures of your baby, I brought pictures of Kimmy because she was still an infant at that point, because there's that big of an age gap between us. And I mean, to be fair, Kimmy did, as a baby and as a really, really little girl, look enough like me for this to be a passable story. And I mean, when I used to pick her up from school, people would ask me if she was my kid, and I would get all butthurt over it. But yeah, that kind of lent itself to this, which is terrible. I claim, yeah, that's my kid. I mean, you can see the genetics in her face. It's my face on her. She's just blonde, like her daddy. Irony, I would never date a blonde, but I mean, that's beside the point, right? That's neither here nor there. Blonde is like the one hair color that does absolutely nothing for me, but again, that's neither here nor there. And this went on for a freaking while until somebody came up with the stupidest thing. I mean, this originally was just going to be the twin story, but apparently this is just turning into bogus stories that I told as a teenager. So somebody in my gym class came up with the story that, oh, well, you have to, okay, let's see if I can do this because my pants are falling down, but if you can stand like this and put your legs together and there is no gap between your thighs, you're not a virgin. But if there's a gap, no, that's not what it was. It was the other way around. If there's a thigh gap, you've had sex. If there's no thigh gap, you're a virgin. Which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, especially in hindsight. But at the time, I was thinking, oh shit. Because I was like, I don't have a thigh gap, as I just showed you. I have fat legs. So I was like, shit. So of course, I'm like trying to bunch my pants at the sides, like, and trying to pull them to force the thigh gap. There was, and they're like, haha, you're a virgin, which, again, you can't tell that from a friggin' thigh gap or not, and joke's on them because I wasn't, but not by choice, but regardless, it was like, that's not even how you tell that, but okay. And they, like, would not believe that because, like, one girl came up with it, and then you could, like, see the look on other girls' faces that overheard it, and you could, like, see them checking to see if they were, like, passable or not, which was probably the funniest part of the whole thing. But, like, because they were so insistent that, yeah, you have no thigh gap, so obviously that's fake. That's fake. And they, like, started making fun so hard to where I forgot the accent. And the whole facade just fell to pieces. And then I cried and I was shunned for the rest of the year. I can't imagine why I got shunned for the rest of the year. Yeah. Yeah. I think that was the summer that I took to the internet and just went into a bunch of anonymous chat rooms and got most of this out of my system as well as I could to be somewhat anonymous, be whatever the fuck I wanted with people I would never have to speak to again. Ever. And just got it out of my system with the exception of the twin thing. That still came out, and a few other smaller ones that I can't think of off the top of my head still came out, but most of it was out of my system in those chat rooms. Anybody remember, like, MSN Comic Chat, like, was laid out like a comic book? Yeah, that was my jam. That was my jam in the late 90s, but I digress. But yeah, the twin one, it's just like, well, do you have any pictures of you with your twin? I want to see you guys together. Oh, I'm sure I have some at home. And I'm thinking, shit, how am I gonna Photoshop this together? Because I didn't even have Photoshop. I had friggin' MS Paint. Let that sink in. I had MS Paint at my disposal. I tried to make this be a thing. I even printed it out on regular-ass printer paper. Not even photo paper. No. This was on regular paper. And I tried to basically obscure the background with the spray paint tool in just crazy colors. All I did was mirror flip the picture and spray painted out the background. Yeah. And this was my proof of said twin. Which led to, oh, how come I never hear her in the background when we talk on the phone? She's never home at the same time I am, or she's up in the attic, where I'm not, because I'm scared of the attic, and she'd kick my ass if I went in there, because that's her room. Yep. Oh, well, I want to talk to your twin on the phone sometime. Crap! So I had to, like, try to come up with a second voice, and then just didn't, and just used my regular fucking voice, my slurs and all, and tried to pass that off as, nope, we're so identical, even our voices are identical. Even our speech impediments are identical. Yeah, the fact that they kept giving more and more chances to back the hell out of this story. And I was so dumb that I was like, not even done, just so stubborn that I would not frigging take them and just own up. It was really obvious that she knew by like day 2 or 3. By the way. And yet, I still felt obligated to keep running with this. The twins knew on day 1, but the friend knew on day 2 or 3, because I think she was trying to give me benefit of the doubt just in case, but it was pretty obvious pretty quickly that there was no twin. It's just me being fucking stupid for no good reason. Yay! I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't even know. If I can remember some of the other really stupid, weird stories that I came up with when I was in high school, or in 8th grade, because I feel like there was at least one other really big one in 8th grade that I had. I know that there was like a rumor somebody was trying to start and trying to make be a thing. He kept asking if I was a Russian spy over and over and over again. I feel like he was trying to make that rumor stick, but no, I'm not. Just a new kid that transferred in this year, that is all. But, no, I feel like I came up with at least one other really big and bad one. Oh, wait. Okay, I think this went along with the Paul McCartney's My Grandpa thing. I think that one took root in 8th grade, and I was still doing it in 9th grade. So, I already said that I was claiming that Paul McCartney was my grandpa, which, I'm pretty sure his life is pretty well documented, and one of my teachers tried to call me out on this so fast. Oh, really? Which one of your kids is your parent? Or which one of his kids is your parent? Stella. Because Stella was my favorite, so okay, we're going with Stella's my mom, apparently. Never mind that she was definitely not married and had absolutely no children at this point. No, we're going with Stella. Okay, who was like basically just at that point starting to get her fashion career off the ground, and yet I choose Stella. If I had chosen Mary or James, maybe I'd have had half a shot. No, I chose friggin' Stella. And then, just on some day that I was, like, having a really bad day, and that teacher asked, like, what is wrong? Instead of saying what was actually wrong with me and what was actually going on at home, I claimed I was grieving over my grandma, Linda. I hate myself. I hate myself so much just saying those words out loud. Okay? So there was that day, and then he was like, oh, maybe this is... I think that was the day he was actually starting to question if maybe this was real. But at the same time was like, if it's not, this kid needs help. So he kept me after school and had me talk to, like, the school counselor at length for, like, a good 2 friggin' hours. And I am just going on with this story because I was so desperate to not talk about what was actually going on at home that I just freaking flew with this. It was to my benefit that I was a writer in my spare time and did basically nothing but write stories, so I mean, my brain was kind of well-versed in coming up with them like that, but, again, in hindsight, really cringing that I didn't just take those stupid ideas and put them in stories like a normal person would. No, I decided to try and live them out in a weird way. So there was that day. I just remembered in explaining that one what the other big one was in 8th grade. The fake black eye story day. So, I was still in the phase of carrying around, like, every piece of makeup that wow, the back of my hair just scared the crap out of me because I thought I saw a shadow back there. Anyway, so I was still at the age where I was carrying around every last piece of makeup that I owned on my person all day, every day at school, right? And I don't know why I decided this would be a good idea, but I had just gotten new sunglasses that looked just like Ringo Starr's at that point, and I wanted to wear them in the classroom. But I knew damn well that was against the dress code. So, in my infinite wisdom, I go into the girls' bathroom and I try to create the effect of a black eye with makeup. Problem: all of my makeup was fucking metallic. Keep this in mind. I also had a grand total of 3 eyeshadows to work with: metallic green, purple, and blue. Let that sink in. Let that mental image simmer in your brains. Good? You got it? I didn't even try to make it realistically shaped. This was like if I were a rainbow Dalmatian who had a spot around one eye. That's what this became. Right? Put the sunglasses back on over them. I cruised into the classroom, did not take my sunglasses off, and the teacher's just like, yeah, you need to take those off. It's breaking dress code. I was like, I can't. It's like, oh, really? Why can't you? And I was like, I have a black eye. And he's like, uh-huh, sure. Show me. I was like, no, I'm really self-conscious about it. He's like, are you being beaten at home? And my heart skipped a beat for about half a second and was like, no. And it's like, okay, where'd you get a black eye? And this, my friends, as if the rainbow metallic fake black eye wasn't bad enough, to add insult to injury, oh no, I come up with this bogus story that I went walking in Oakland, where I'd probably never be caught dead anyway, but that's beside the point. I was walking in Oakland, just minding my own business, and there was this black thug girl on the sidewalk who got mad at me for walking across her square of the sidewalk because that was her turf, and said I couldn't walk on it. I said, why not? It's public property. She said, it's mine, bitch. And I was just like, what are you gonna do about it? I just walked across it. She's just like, there's gonna be consequences. And I was like, oh, really? Show me. And she beat the crap out of me. And that was my story I went with. And he's just like, oh my god, we should call the police. And I was like, no, we should not call the police over this story at all. Like, for real. We definitely should not do that. Why not? Because she threatened my life if I told anybody. We're in Castro Valley. How's she gonna know about that? Because if we call the police, they're gonna try and find her, and she's gonna know exactly who it was, and she'll probably track me down and kill me. Legit. So the teacher at this point looks like I'm giving him a fucking migraine, questioning his life choices of why he went into teaching, probably. Questioning why he didn't request me to be transferred to somebody else's class, I'm sure. And eventually he's like, I want to see the black eye. I was like, I really don't want to show you the black eye. He's like, I really think you're lying. I really think you don't have a black eye. I go, I really think you're a jerk, because here's my black eye. I, like, flipped him down real quick and back up. He's just like, can I see that again? And I was just like, ah, crap. And somebody who was, like, very invested in this story at this point, who was just like, what the fuck? And, like, every detail of it. It's just like, yeah, Jen, flip those shades down again. I want to see that again. Like, real quick. Is that... I could be mistaken. A perfectly round, non-swollen, rainbow, shimmery black eye. It might be. Do you need to go to the bathroom to wash it off? No. I'll take the glasses off. I will sit here in my shame. That was like legit actually what came out of my mouth in response to this, because I was just like, everyone in this classroom has just watched and listened to this entire encounter go down, right? So it's just like, they all know anyway. What the hell would the point be? Fuck it. Just laugh at me. You're gonna laugh at me anyway. You're gonna ridicule me anyway. Go for it. Because at that point I was like, screw it. Screw everything. Can we carry on with our day now? I took them off. He's like, I really think you should wash it off. You're disrupting the class. Like, fine. Needless to say, rest of the fricking school year, if I wasn't being ridiculed for the fake English, fake boyfriend, fake baby lie, I was being ridiculed for the fake black eye lie. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. I do not blame them. Had I been on the other side of this, and this had been like another student, I don't think I would have been above ridiculing the shit out of that either. But yeah, I just... It's not like I'd never had one before, it wasn't like I'd never seen one before, I just did not have the means of making it look realistic. So I was like, well, screw it, they're gonna be under shades anyway, so I figured at worst all that's gonna be seen is just dark, but through the shade, and I wouldn't actually have to take them off, and they'd leave me alone. I'm gonna look like a cool badass who got her ass beat, but you know what, you should see the other person, see what I did to them, right? As if I would ever do anything to anybody, right? But again, 14-year-old me, right? Maybe even 13. I don't even remember if I'd hit my 14th birthday when I came up with that one, because I think that was earlier in the year, but yeah. That. And part of me is like, why are you telling the internet this? Why are you giving the internet this kind of ammo? And at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Anyone who may stumble on this channel who remembers me from back then, guess what? I'm an open book now, so it somehow takes away their ammo if I'm the one who shares it first. So rather than worrying, oh, what if somebody does an exposed video on me on how shitty I was as a teenager? It's like, no, I will happily be the one to share those stories. Quite happily. Albeit shamefully, but it is what it is. The moral of the story, just be freaking honest. Be yourself. Don't feel like you have to be something you're not, to be cool, to have approval. Just, you are enough the way you are. You don't have to be anything you're not. Just be you. I don't care how cliche that sounds. I know that I certainly didn't believe those words when I was that age either. But speaking as somebody who has gone through it, not believed those words, done really shitty things because I didn't believe those words because I thought it would somehow go better for me, just believe me, you're much better off just doing you and being authentic. And that is why I have such an open book policy now, and just a 100% open, honest policy now. Because with that sort of back history, it's like, yeah, no, I don't ever want to live that again. So, anyways. That's about all those kind of stories I can come up with tonight that I remember. Again, I feel like there was probably more from high school. I think that was it from the 8th grade ones, but high school, I feel like there was more, but they're kind of blip at the moment, so if I remember I guess I'll share them in another video. If I don't, then I won't, but anyway. So, if you enjoyed this video and enjoyed my cringeworthiness, go ahead and give me a like. Which feels really weird saying that after the content of this video. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, and you hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. I am really tired. You tell, like, my droopy lids. Anyways, I know, I fall asleep like an old person. Leave comments down below. Did you guys ever do anything like this, either as a little kid, teenager, hell, even as an adult? Should that apply to you? Because of any of the aforementioned reasons, or any other reasons? let me know down below so I know I'm not the only one, because I'm positive I'm not the only one who went through a phase like that. I'm sure there are others amongst us here. This is a safe space. I am certainly not going to judge you if you guys aren't judging me over it, okay? So, like I said, judgment free zone. If you want to share, go for it. If not, that's cool too. Make sure you're following my social media accounts, they're all listed down below. And if you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to help support it, the donation link, as always, is down in the description. So, anyway, guys, until next time, bye bye.